going to show you how to make rabbiting nets made from spun poly. We use an 8-inch needle that your spun poly goes on, 2 1/4 inch knitting board. This will make holes in your net that are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 square. Different colours spun poly. We've got green, yellow, pink. We've also used black. Draw cord, that's 3mm, slightly thicker than the spun poly. Also bought in various colours. 1-inch welded mesh, welded rings, 2 per net, sharp knife and a lighter. The way I do it, to anchor the net from where you start from, is I just have a hook on the desk and just hook the ring on there, and we work back along the net until it's finished, and then put a ring on the other end. Now the way that you fill your needle up with your spun poly is starting from an empty needle. It's not tied on, it's basically just threaded round, so that's an empty needle. Just hold it on and you just keep wrapping it around itself. Once you've gone around a couple of times, you don't need to hold it, and you just fill the needle up like so, and just keep turning it around, going around itself until it's full to the end of that point, and then you should have enough to do a net or various colours on nets. So to start with, you need to tie your spun poly onto your ring. So your ring on the hook, go through the ring, and the way we do it is just twist about 4 or 5 times round on itself, and then you need to thread this end back through that loop there, like so. Pull tight, and what it'll do is it'll slide up, and the tighter you pull that, the tighter it'll become, and that won't come undone. So the more you pull on it, the tighter it gets. And then take your knife, just cut that end off, and then with the lighter, you see the little frayed bits there, I'm just going to melt them. You don't need to, it still won't come undone, it just tidies them up. What you don't want to do is touch any of this, the rest of the actual thread, with the lighter, otherwise it'll just melt it and it'll be weak and it'll just snap. So once we tied it on, we then need to put 8 loops. The pattern that I do is 2 rows of 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 3 rows of 15, and then back down to 8. So you go back down 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 8, and then your other ring put on the other end. So to start with, the board, loop over the top. I'm going to go around the board, back through the ring, and then when you come through, on the back of the board, back through the loop that you've just made, and then go over bring this string back over the top, and that's now put your first loop on. And to tie that off, the way I do it is go around, back through the ring. That then puts a knot at the side of your first loop. Pull that tight, and then same again, so back through the ring, through the loop, back over the top, pull tight. You must remember to tie each one off as you do it. If you don't, when you come to do your next row, your loop will be slack and you won't be able to tie to it. Run through the loop, through the ring, sorry, back through the loop and over the top. Tie off. So over the board, through the ring, back through the loop, over the top. Tie off. Through the ring, through the loop, over the top. Tie off. Through the ring, through the loop, over the top. Tie off. That's 2, 4, 6. 2 more. So through the ring, through the loop, over the top. Tie off. Last one. Through the ring, through the loop, over the top. Tie off. Should be 8 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That isn't one. So that's tied off. I'm going to take that off. Might be a little bit tight on your first row. What I'll do is just turn my ring hook round just slightly so it's at an angle. And now we need to do our second row of 8. So now we're going to pick up each loop one at a time. So now instead of going through the ring, the loop becomes the ring. So now you're going to go over the top. So you're going to go through the loop and just pull it tight down to your board and hold it with your thumb. I don't know if you can see, but then you're going to make a loop, same as we did over the top of the ring. You're going to go at the back of the 2 and behind back of the 1. So you've gone that way and then between the 2 to tie it off. You can see that pull the knot tight, and you've got a knot at the top of the board. Pick up your next one. The first 2 rows will be the fiddliest, and it's probably where you'll make the most mistakes. If you do it slowly, just remember to tie each one off. So make a loop or ring, back of the 2 and then in the middle, and just pull it tight, and that'll just sit on the top of the board still. Same again, back of the 2, back of the 1, pull it tight. If you have forgotten to tie any off, they'll be slack when you come to them and you pull them. Pick that one up, back of the 2, back of the 1, tight, up, back of the 2, back of the 1, back of the 2, back of the 1, 2, back of the 1, and then last one, back of the 2, back of the 1. So that should be 8 again. So 2, 4, 6, 8. First 2 rows of 8 done. Then what I'll do is, before you start your next row, just turn the ring around. So your first loop's always at the top and you're working your way down. So then it's same again, board, so then pick up your first loop. This time we're going to do 9, so we've done our 2 rows of 8, this one's now going to be 9, so we'll add an extra loop on at the end of this. So same as before, back of the 2, back of the 1. 2, the 2, back of the 1. You get to the last one, you do that, so you tie that one off, so that's your 8th loop, so that would be another row of 8. So now we're going to add an extra 1 to make it 9. Go around the board, go back through the last loop again, which you've tied off, and then just tie it off. So that gives you 9 loops. Slightly bigger knot because there's 2. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This loop will look slightly smaller and that one slightly big, but you'll get that opposite each other all the way down the net. You can see that one looks slightly smaller. That's because it's the first one. Last one on the other row, first one on this row. So now we're going to pick up from that one. Now you've got a long one at the side of it again. So same as before. The 2, the 1, and just keep going. So this time I'm going to add an extra 1 again to make 10. This is the 9th one. Through that one, tie it off. See how that's a slightly bigger one on the end. And now it's going to have a smaller one if we add an extra one. That'll be loop number 10. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to the end. And then you'll start to see your net forms. It's 8, 8, 9, 10. Bring it on. Then pick up the small one, that's the first one. Just carry on, same as before. And as you get further away, start to add your rows, it becomes easier to pick your loops up. So it's not as fiddly. And go a little bit quicker. Just got to remember to tie it off. Number 11. Right, so there's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So then ring around again. So then same again. Once you get used to picking the ring up, tying it off, you shouldn't forget to tie it off and end up with a slack loop. If you keep them pretty straight and tight under your thumb, they should all be the same length. Your knots all will sit on top of the board where you're pulling them tight to. And then we'll add loop number 12, so just again pick up on the end and add an extra one. Tie it off. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And just check that you're on the right amount. You've got 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you can as well, once you get more and more loops, because we're going up to 15, try and keep them to this end. With the board being quite long, doesn't fit in your hand very well to be able to reach over it. So I just try and keep them towards the left hand side. Right, so now that should be 13. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Now what I do for row 14 is I change colour. So now I'm going to cut this and join green and do 14, the 3 rows of 15, and then the other row of 14 going back down in green. So you have a green stripe across the middle of a pink net. Change back to pink, so you'll have pink, green, pink. So again, we'll take our knife and just cut that off like that to our green. I'm going to tie it on, tie it together around itself twice, and then go back, make another, just a single knot, but in the opposite direction. So you've got a double knot at the bottom and a double knot at the top. Pull it tight and pull the two tight. And the tight you pull it, the tight the knot's going to go. So that won't come undone. And then again, cut the ends off. Like that. And then you could leave them. They aren't going to come undone, but just to tidy it up, just melt them. Now again, you don't want your flame to touch that or that. Just melt them down, and then same on that one. There you go, one neat knot. So then we finished our row 13. Turn that back off our board. And they've gone to green, so swap that over. So your knot will be somewhere near where your next knot's going to be when you pick up your loop. So pick up your loop with your green now. Right, it's at the bottom. You'd cut it a bit shorter. You want it somewhere on here when you change your colour, just so the knot's out of the way. So just same as before, start picking up your loops and tying them off. Try and keep them side by side so they don't overlap each other, otherwise they get a bit tight and a bit harder to get off the board when they cross over each other. We go back of the 2, back of the 1. Back of the 2, back of the 1. Just make a little loop on top, so you're sort of going around back of the 2, back of the 1. Hold tight. The last one, so that's for 13, so now we're going to add 14. And that's our extra one, so it should be 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And loop around. So now we're going to knit 15. So we're going to do 3 rows of 15. So when we've added 1 at the end of this row, we won't add any more for 2 rows. last one. I'll maybe put that knot when I've tied it in the wrong place, but it'll be alright. Might just be a little bit close to the knots that we're going to add here. And then add number 15. That should be 15 now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So this time we aren't going to add an extra loop, so we're just going to knit the 15. So that's number 15. So we won't add one on. So that's our 14, 15, 15. Second row 15. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We're doing 3 rows of 15, so same again. Once you get the hang, let's say, going round the board, picking your loop up onto your thumb and tying it off, that is the basic process for every single row. It's all you're doing, it's nothing else. The only difference is adding an extra loop at the end and then knocking one off when we go back down to 8 from 14, 15. That's the only difference, but everything else is just the same. It's the same for every single loop. It's just getting into that routine. Right, so that's our third row 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, change colour, 14, 3 rows of 15, 15, 15, 15. Now we're going to do knock one off at the end of this row and drop back down to 14, so it'll be the same as that. So we'll have 14, 15, 15, 15, 14 in green, and then change colour back to pink. So again, we just carry on, same as before. Right, so we've got 3 loops left. So to reduce one on a row, so we're going from 15 to 14, take the last 2 loops, pick the first one up, and then before you go under the board, pick the last one up as well. So you've got them both on there. And then, same as before, we'll loop, tie them off. So you're going to go at the back of the 4, so you've got 2 loops. 1, 2, so you go back of the 4, and then between them both. Back of the 4 and then back of the 2, so in the middle. And then just pull it tight. And then that should give you 14. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So now we're going to change back to pink. Same as before. Take our knife and just go a little bit further up the board this time. Cut that off. And tie the pink back on. So again, go around twice, one way, and then go around once, opposite direction. Pull tight, well, that not tight, and then pull them 2 tight, and they won't come apart. You'll just get tighter as you pull them. And then knife, put them off. Light it. Again, try not to touch them 2 threads. Just melt them off. And then same again on the green. Just melt them down to the knot, and that'll just tidy them up. So now we've joined back to the pink. Now we've gone back to the pink. Change. So we're going to carry on knitting down 1 loop each time. So we're at 14, so our first row pink will be 13. So it's just same as before. Pick your loop up, tie off. Pull it tight. Pick your loop up, tie it off. Just got to remember when you get near the end that you're tying the last two together. We're getting near there now. We've got 3 left again. So that one, and pick up these 2. So that one, and then that one. Both on there, and then again, so back of the 4 and back of the 2. So between the 2 loops. Tight. So now we're down to 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Same again. So again, last 2. So pick up that one. And pick up the last one. Back of the 4, back of the 2. Hold tight. Again, they should all be in a row, so that should now be 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, last two again. Should be 14, 13, 12, should be 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So just carrying on, same as before. If you want to make nets longer, just add more rows, or if you want to make them with more bag in the purse as the net closes, you need to make them wider, so you'd put more loops on in the middle. So where mine are 15, that's going to be the baggy bit in the purse that drops down. You could go to 16, 17, 18, however much you want. You could add extra rows, you could do more rows of 15, 16 or whatever you want. This is just the way that I do them. It's a 3'6" net at this pattern, and I find that it purses up alright for rabbits. They don't tend to get out of them if they're set correctly. This is how I've made nearly 100 nets now. So we're on now 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So 2 more rows and then the ring, and we're done. This is our first row of 8, so this is going to be the last time we knit 2 together in the end. So we're going from 9 to 8 and then another row of 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So now we're going to knit our last row, which is another row of 8. Like I say, the colours, you can do them any colour you want. There's a whole bunch of different colours you can buy for spun poly. I've used green, black, pink, green, and then on my nets I've done a combination of all 5. So you've got pink and green, green and pink, black and yellow, black and pink, black and green. You do whatever you want, really. Doesn't matter what colour they are. Rabbits aren't going to see them, the colour, because rabbits are colour blind. So if they're going to see a net, they're going to see a net. All they're going to see is a dull net. So the colours are more, makes it easy for us to see them when we're setting them, when they're set, when they move. You can soon see some bright pink and green grass, or black and yellow. They're a lot easier to see, and when rabbits bolt you can see them a lot better. So that's our last row of 8. I haven't knitted any 2 together on there, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So we've got 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 8. So what we need to do now, put our other ring on. So finish with the board. So other ring. So instead of the board now, we're going to sew onto the ring. So we've got our 8 loops. So like you would the boards, now you're going to go through the ring, pick up the loop, the first loop, and pull that down onto the ring. Same as you did on the board, but now you just go into the ring. It's a bit fiddly, and then just tie it off, same as before. Pull that tight. When you've done the first one, the ring can move. Until you do the next one. So you go through the ring again, through the loop, your next loop, pull it down to your ring, and tie it off. So back of the 2, back of the 1, pull it tight onto your ring. If you keep it just with your thumb, now the ring won't move. So through the ring, through the loop, hold it with your thumb so it's nice and tight. Back of the 2, back of the 1, hold it tight. Through the ring, through the loop, tie off. Back of the 2, back of the 1, nice and tight. So through the ring, through the loop, tie off. Through the ring, through the loop, tie it off. So back of the 2, back of the 1, tight. Through the ring, pick up the loop, tie it off. And the last one, through the ring, through the last loop, tie off. Pull pull it nice and tight. And what I tend to do is just stick an extra, an extra looping on the last one. And it just ties it off a bit better. It keeps it nice and tight. So then all we need to do is cut that off. Again, all you need to do is just melt the end a little bit. And I'll just stop that being a frayed loose bit. And there we have one purse net. Right, once you've made your net, the way I have the draw cord, we're going to use purple draw cord on this, just stands out against the pink and the green a bit better. Again, different colours you can buy, different contrasting colours. So the way I do it is get yourself enough slack to go at least once down the net. And we're going to pick up the outside edges, the end loops. So go through our ring and then just pick up each outside loop. So that one, just keep going through them. So you're basically going in and out, well, around it, each one. Just do it the same way on all of them. Just find the outside edge one. And then through the ring, and you're going to go back down the other side, doing exactly the same. And then you've gone through the ring, back of the ring, so then do the same. Go the same way. So if you go that way on all of them. If you go that way, do the same on all. And go that way. Need to make sure you get the outside edge. And then when you get to the end, you want your draw cord to go through the opposite way to what your other one has. So that's gone underneath, so I'll take this one over the underneath as well. So one's bottom, one's top. And then all you need to do is give yourself enough slack for the draw on the draw cord. So let me take our knife. Just cut that off. I'm just tie a knot in it for now. And then all you need to do is add your peg, whether you use a wooden peg, metal pegs. I tend to use tent pegs. Just bend the end over on a normal tent peg so you've got a loop, thread it through, and then tie it in the same way as what we did the knots when we joined the colours, so round twice and then opposite way round once, pull them tight, they won't come undone. There's nothing worse than a peg coming off when you're using your nets. If you want to check and it's right, you can use the draw cord, just slide the ring down and you can see the bag on the net, and that slides like that. And that's one purse net, 3'6" in length with 2 colours. So all that needs now is just a peg putting on it. Job done.